I was having a discussion with somebody. It's a discussion I've had hundreds of times before, so I thought I'd make a quick video about it. It's this concept of continually defending your limitations. You know, I can't this, I can't that, the system won't let me, I have to ask the wife, it's easy for you, human, because of blah, 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 I can't because of blah, blah, blah. Mind you, if you actually take a look at how much of your day you waste, you'd be surprised with how sedentary and lazy you are. Now, you don't need to be working out morning, noon and night and living a life of an Olympic athlete. But sometimes when I listen to people defending their limitations, it becomes quite apparent why these people aren't going their own way. I was thinking of this reverse psychology. I was thinking of actually making this video and titling it that if you have a dependent personality, then you can't be MGTOW, and just waiting for the comments to arise and saying, you can't tell me what to do and, fuck you. And I'm thinking, yes, exactly. I wanted to make that comment purposely because it shines the light on actually who has the will to go their own way. It's exactly the kind of person that says fuck you to a comment like the one I just made. This person I was talking to today, we touched on the topic of working out and going to the gym and how hard it is for him. Now, this person's not married. He doesn't have kids. We'd have different lives, but ostensibly he really doesn't have much of an excuse other than defending his excuses and his limitations that he sets for himself. They're not even limitations, they're just excuses. And he's saying, I need someone to go to the gym with me to spot me. I can't just go on my own. I find it hard to get motivated to go to the gym on my own. I need a training buddy. I need, someone to go running with me. You talked about how it was one of the positive things of having a girlfriend in the past. Now, I'm quite different by comparison, where I've never actually needed or wanted a training buddy at the gym. I train at home on my own. When I go to the gym, it's this very solitary, personal thing. It's not a social thing, and I get so much out of it, and it recharges me, and it reaffirms my independence and my confidence within myself. But it just made me realize, talking to this person, how much of their security, their confidence, mental well-being, and how well they thought of themselves, and how much limits they set for themselves, and how powerless they think of themselves in terms of life, and what difference they can make within their own lives. The kind of person I was having a conversation with today is the kind of person I run into all the time. I'd say that people like myself, and probably many of you guys, are the exception. Just by dint of the fact of going your own way and being amenable to these kind of discussions and talking openly and objectively about these kind of rational topics, and, being introspective and trying to sort of self-determine and having the foundations underneath you being yours and actually feeling good with that kind of security, not having foundations by everyone and everything around you and outside of you. So yeah, I just thought it was really interesting, this type of person that is a very, very normal type of person out there. And I used to come away from those conversations feeling a little bit uncomfortable in myself, really realizing that I was the odd one out, especially when you're in a group of people. They find what I had to say and my perspective on these issues about independence and doing your own thing and not really needing anyone to be happy. Loving the minimalist sort of thing in life, both in your practical foundations, but also in what you actually need mentally, what satisfies you, and how you're content with next to nothing. Yeah, I've always just found it interesting with these kind of people that are always defending what they can't do. Their conversations tend to be negative. And I've talked to one or two in MGTOW circles as well, where when you listen to their language, there's a lot of can't, I wish I could, easy for you to say, yeah, but I've got X, Y, and Z, and you realize you could, if you really wanted to, you change. But a lot of these people don't want it enough, but it sounds such a motivational cliche, which I hate. It's just not a priority to them. Sometimes I say to people, instead of saying you can't, or this is stopping you, or I haven't been given a chance, when you look at it, there is no real excuse other than just be honest. Just say it's not a priority. Be calmly honest about things. It's easy to hold up a straw man saying, this thing isn't allowing me. Women aren't allowing me to be happy. In the corporate sector especially, the sheep in those kind of formalized bureaucratic and business-like settings, They all tend to have the same brain, but most of those people's thoughts are the thoughts that come out of newsprint. Those people, the conversation is all about limitations and frustrations. But then when you ask them questions and you try to remove the limitations quite easily, they just keep saying how they can't or they won't. It's similar to the person that I remember a girl I dated a couple of years ago, and I've always kept myself in shape for decades. It's just been something I've always enjoyed. And I remember her asking me what advice I could give her. And right away, I asked about her diet. And she automatically put her hand up and said, no, I love my chocolate. I love this. I love that. So basically, she wasn't going to compromise on her diet. And then she said, what else? What other advice? And I said, well, how often do you exercise? And she said, well, I can't do the gym. I need someone to go with me and I've got joint pain. I can't go for a run or a jog. So it's amazing. It's amazing to me, the kind of personality. I mean, I can't relate. I can understand it. It's a lot easier to make up excuses. And, certainly I'm not Elon Musk or anybody. I haven't accomplished anything to that scale. But I'm one of these observers where you kind of observe not only people, but their language too, and how they justify their limitations. Anyway, it might be something to think about with yourself. What kind of language do you use? Do you talk well to yourself? Do you talk compassionately to yourself like a friend? I've mentioned this in previous videos. Talk to yourself like you'd be talking to your best friend, with affection. Not, you're a fucking idiot, get off your ass. With that kind of motivation spreading around, which I mentioned in my last video, the whole alpha motivation, kicking yourself like a warrior, whipping yourself. Get off your ass to motivate yourself. Just makes one think about how you internally talk to yourself and how the internal belief you have translates into the external language you use. Listen to people around you when they keep using negatives like can't and won't and it's easy for you, and it's basically just avoiding themselves and pointing to everything and everyone else as being limits and roadblocks and handcuffs. Whereas part of my reason for never wanting marriage or kids, or I knew that I would willfully be handing myself over and putting my handcuffs on, giving them the key to my jail cell and letting them lock me in. So I was very aware of that, and I could never understand why other people who allow others to lock them in the cage and then complain that I can't do this. Well, yeah. You're slowly allowing people to lock you in a cage. And the funny thing is that you can walk out any time. To me, there was no hard choice between, do I get married or do I want both? It's like, no, there's no choice at all. And I think that's where a lot of people live in life today. They live on the fence, wanting both choices that are effectively going in opposite directions. And so they think that if they just sit there and not grasp any one, they've always got the choice. And I've talked about it with, older women and even some choices with guys, time doesn't care. And you're better off making a choice, learning really quickly if it is right or not, and then choosing something else that's a better choice if the one you've chosen isn't a good fit. Rather than limiting yourself with laziness, which is what I see and what I kind of got from the friend I was talking to today. Anyway, I thought I just wanted to get that off my chest. Have a great day and go your own way, gentlemen. Later. Please share, like, comment, subscribe and hit the bell icon under this video. And don't forget to keep checking my channel for new videos. Feel free to donate through Patreon or PayPal too. It keeps me creating more videos and I really do appreciate it. Thanks guys.